Hi everyone, this is episode 25 of Double Cross Anime. My name is Whooper, and
I'm Mario.
that's right, we're back. This is the quarter of a hundred. We made it. Only 75 more to go.
Yep.
So today, we're finishing Nadia's Secret of Blue Water. Last four episodes taking us up to the end, episode 39.
Mhm.
Um, we're gonna talk about episode or volume three rather of High Score Girl, the manga.
Mhm.
All the way up to, I mean, for those of you who have read it, that's all the way up to the entrance exams.
Right.
Um, Banana Fish episode 8, Review Starlight episode 7, Series the Jaeger episode 6. That's what we've
Uh,
got on the schedule for today. Did I
yep.
hear a sigh from you, Mario?
Yeah. It just like we have to wait for too long for Sheila the Jaeger. It's just
Yeah,
like no one wanted to submit it. That's what I think.
my Bob is still doing it.
Yeah, but he took quite a long time this time.
Yeah,
Even
but
high scorer.
that's up. Episode 7 is up.
Yeah. Well, is it?
Yeah, I just saw a non-subbed it.
Oh yeah. That's why not subbed it.
I mean, I'm just thankful that people are doing it at all. You
Yeah.
know,
That's right. Hmm.
I think we've gotten too accustomed to speed subs, and if
So
it
like
takes an extra week, I'm good with that.
Well, and so yeah, for all these people who do the fun stuff by yourself, we appreciate your effort.
Of course, yeah. Hats off.
Yep. All right. So which one you want to do first?
I don't
Okay.
know.
Mm.
What do you want? I did the intro. Now don't really care what's first and what's last.
All right. We we can do either Banana Fish or Review Starlight.
All right, let's. I don't have very many nice things to say about the seasonal shows this week, so let's
Yeah.
start with
All right.
yeah. Let's start with Banana Fish because that's like a reliable target.
All right. Reliable target.
Yeah.
So what do you think about this week?
I was 5 minutes in and I was just praying for it to be over.
Oh God.
I was like, please just let this end. Let this show end. Let this episode end. Just let it end.
All right, tell me more about why you feel this way.
Well, I mean, obviously, if I was thinking that 5 minutes into the episode, I didn't pay the closest attention, and I don't have the firmest grasp on
Hmm.
what caused it to be so unappealing. Um, I mean, a lot of my frustration is probably just a holdover from last week, where it just made no sense how the episode progressed. Um, with the whole plot where Yut Lung is gonna pretend to be the scientist's son and house them
Oh
for a little
yeah,
while, and all this stuff about like kidnapping Ag, and I
and
feel as though that's just a gigantic gap in the story that doesn't make a lot of sense, and so what's following is I'm just like wanting to fall asleep.
and guess what? There is a new scientist, which is the house the household. What his name?
Alexis Dawson is the
Oh
new guy's name.
yeah. Well, he came back and then he got kidnapped. Well, and yeah. Well, I actually like his role was pretty quick. I
His
don't know,
role was just to
rush.
explain what banana fish was, and then get punched a couple times by the main
Oh yeah,
characters.
because
Oh my,
why you created the evil?
right. You made the strug. Have at thee. Oh, we did it. We punched him. We saved the day.
Yay!
He's Abraham Dawson's older brother, I think.
Yep,
Abraham
yep, yep.
being the scientist with the red hair.
Oh wow! Wait, I think they are more of the university grade altogether. So they study together more than they are brothers.
They have the same last name.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. Alexis
All right,
Dawson and Abraham Dawson.
all right.
Yeah, I'm pretty. I mean, unless that's a coincidence, they're brothers.
Nah, I think they're
Um,
brothers.
and
Alright.
Alexis's role was just like, was he hiding out in the house the whole time? Oh no. He got that notification that his computer
Yep.
was hacked.
Hmm.
So then he came over and I guess infiltrated the house while everyone
With,
had a bunch of poison coursing through their system.
without any like weapon, or like he does he think that he can get away with that? Just go back to the house and check up on the house.
I don't know.
All right, let's talk about Yut Lung and his role.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Be, because it changes a lot. His role changes a lot this week. So he
Yeah,
first
nonsensically.
and I just don't understand what is his deal with his brothers. Like the brother try to use him, the brothers abuse him, and I don't know. And for some reason he had to listen to all that, to all the commands.
Yeah, the thing that makes the least sense is the fact that at the end of this episode, he's like, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna get revenge on my brothers because they had a hand in our mother's death."
Yeah,
So his
and
his thought is, I'm gonna I'm gonna get revenge on them. But if that's how you really feel, then why have
just
you been taking orders from them this entire time?
that's right. And how the hell that like he think that he know more about banana fish would take him like he have an advantage over the brothers. I just don't get it.
I mean I it seems to me that the they just needed the story to get to a certain point, and so they had him obey his the will of Mr. Lee and How
Mm-hmm.
Lung and
Mm-hmm.
whoever else is his brothers in
Yep.
the Chinese mafia. Um, until the story got to a certain point, and then they were like, "Oh, well, okay, now it's time for the revenge story."
Mm-hmm.
And as far
So
as his knowledge of banana fish goes, they just
so
I don't know.
do you think that Yut Lung will be like have a friendship term to our main cast?
Um,
So
you mean do I think he's going to join the good guys and stuff?
yep. Hmm.
I don't know, man. I don't even care.
All right.
I honestly don't. I don't care one bit about what happens in the show going forward. It's like it's not even it's not even good looking anymore.
Mm.
Mappa is just sleepwalking through this thing. I'm sure that's not fair to say because animation is an extremely complicated, costly, time-consuming, difficult process. But this show doesn't look anything like it did in the first episode.
Mhm.
So I got bamboozled for sure.
Yep. How do you think about Shutter then?
About what?
Shutter. Shutter.
Shorter's just a victim of this show being really really stupid.
All right.
I I don't know. I mean, he's part of the plot to kidnap AG, but it seems like he's just along for the ride.
Yep.
He what is it that he does? He says, "Oh yeah, no, I'm going with AG. You can't separate us." He threatens
Yep.
to kill him so that he'll be able to tag
Then
along with him, but it's other people who are dictating where he goes and what he does at this point. He's no longer, in control.
yeah, is that making sense that like he tried to save AG by killing him,
I
but
don't know.
like threatened to kill him, and then
Well,
like Arthur and all these guys just have to step back.
yeah.
It just doesn't make sense to me, that bit.
Well, the whole thing with AG is that he's now in danger of suffering the same fate that Ash did, which
Mm-hmm.
is why Ash is so upset about this situation. He's because apparently Papadino has taken an interest in AG,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and so that's that you would think after all the terrible things that he's done to Ash, that would be like a fate worse than death. So Shorter could liberate him from that by killing him. I I mean I could see that working if the characters and the story and the production were all a little better. I can see someone thinking that being like a really weighty decision, something that they have to balance.
Yep.
Whether this person like cutting their life short could actually be a blessing or could be freeing. But in this where we're just moving at a mile a minute and characters are doing what they're doing for the convenience of the story and not because of any internal consistency. At that point, it doesn't really matter what's going on. Things are just happening, and we're taking them in as they do.
Yep. And that leads us to Max and the bunch of guys who invaded his ex-wife house. Apparently, I think rape her as well, and then come back to the place to is that try to kidnap Ash and kill the rest of the guys.
You're talking about like the
The ending of these episodes.
I don't even remember the ending.
All right. That's about like a punch open up group. I think these are the Asian guys, not from the Chinese syndicate. They they came to the house where Ash and everyone stay there and burn the house.
Oh yeah, that's
Uh,
right. I remember the house burning. Yeah.
yeah, and apparently one of them remarked about how he
Oh, your
let
wife is so
his
hot.
yeah, that's right.
Wait, did your translation say anything about rape?
No, it doesn't, but it seemed like it implied that.
Yeah, it kind of was implied because the Jessica, when we saw her, she was wearing that big blanket, like they put over, victims of, not just sexual assault, but I mean they put those blankets over people after there's been a fire,
Yep.
But I think the image may be, we're supposed to infer that she was assaulted.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I guess.
So yeah, that's the plot that we have to deal with now. So I think the next time we will see how Ash and Max and Ibe-san just like get away from them, kill them,
So are
and
they
then
are they kidnapped
get
right now? Like, or have they been, bound and gagged and stuff? Are they just being
uh
held at gunpoint? Have they been kidnapped?
yeah, they just held them at gunpoint right now. That's what I remember.
Okay. Are we gonna talk about the fact that Yut Lung's brother is
Yep.
like interested in him because he resembles their mother, and he
Oh yeah.
says
Well,
his heart can't help but flutter when he's
yeah.
around him?
Yep. That interesting.
I suppose so.
Well,
So we've
I
we've it's not just
I
it's not just
I just
incest, it's gay incest.
yeah, that's right. And I suppose that sexual assault is like one of the thing in Banana Fish. Like every situations, every character's mind will they urge it to do the sexual assault as maybe a kind of dominance.
I suppose it just seems like it's crammed into every scenario and every
Mhm.
character backstory and relationship where it could possibly be.
Yep,
I'm starting to get tired of it.
that's
I mean,
right.
I've been
I
I've been tired of it.
I hope that the next act or something is getting better. For now, I don't think it's very good.
I thought that this was going to be for sure like the one show where like the first two core show where we carry it over to the next season.
Yep.
When it started, I was like, "Oh, this is going to be the one." This is no Piano no Mori or what was the other one? Darling in the Franks,
Uh,
maybe.
yep.
I thought to myself, "Oh, we're not going to abandon this one. We're going all the way." That
Maybe
was,
we're going all the way.
I guess it'll
We
it'll depend on
just
how strong Fall is.
That's right.
But if Fall is so like it doesn't produce enough interesting series to push Banana Fish out of contention, then I just give up. I give
Right.
up.
All right. If we don't have anything else to talk about this show except for whining, which would be done for the last 10 or 15 minutes, we
Right.
can move on to Rebel Starlight.
All right, you ready for more whining?
All right, you can tell me more because I can defend these episodes.
All right.
So do your stuff, man.
Um, the long and short of what I have to say is, given the gigantic twist in this episode, it should have
Yep.
had way more impact than it did. This should have been like a Madoka
Right.
Magica, um,
Mhm.
you know, the revelation that time is being reset
Yep.
over and over. That should have been like earth shattering, but
Yep.
instead it was just kind of, oh, that's interesting, that's neat. That's how
All
I
right.
felt.
That's how I felt as well. But I think it still work. The twist. So
I mean, I guess it works, but it should have been like mind blowing.
well, because remember last week when we speculate about Banana's stories.
Yeah, I thought it was going
Uh,
to be way more lame and boilerplate.
so yeah, so at first when they start they start with Banana, I just thought to myself like, well, it really is the show really go to the idols, formulas.
Yeah, I thought the exact
So,
same thing. When they're
uh,
at the party after the freshman
that's right. Yeah.
performance, and she's like, "Oh wow, I just love everybody. I love everything. I just
Uh,
love being a performer so much. Hooray!"
and and I also think that her motivation is very vague. The way like she just say that like the 99 um, auditions whatever was perfect. She want to keep clinging on that moment. It's very vague. The way that she doesn't try to move on.
Right.
So, but for the last 5-7 minutes, we actually learn a lot about her characters. That like it shed another light of her characters that I didn't expect.
But
So
do we
yeah,
know exactly why she's so nostalgic and obsessed with recreating the same scene,
I
the same experience over and
yeah,
over?
not that really, but just I think it's just among that she find that auditions. No, it's not audition. She find that performance was just perfect, and she want to just relive the moments every single times.
Right.
So yeah, so when it come to that twist, it's not only tell us that like she tried to repeat the whole thing like Madoka's style, which have been dark. Have you watched the Future Diary to the end?
No, I didn't watch to the end, but I
All
know
right.
there are like parallel worlds and stuff.
Yeah, yeah. So it kind of remind me of that as well. And so talking about Banana, it's actually also tell us that she's talent wise she like one of the best.
She beats Maya in
Yeah, she
a
beat
review.
Maya. I didn't expect that at all. So it's a welcome surprise.
Right.
And what
But
else?
we don't
And
actually see them fight.
yeah, it's a and
It
yeah.
just
So
cuts
so
to the
that's
end. We just
that's right.
see her like flicking off the button and
That
Maya's coat falling to the ground. We don't see them
that's
actually fight.
That's right, but that's one of the things that make this episodes work for me as well. Is the way that it's used repetitive scenes. So you see like even when she talking to the giraffe, they kind of use the same image all over again.
Yeah, the profile shot of the giraffe with the light behind
Yeah,
him.
yeah, that's right, and yeah, and some other shot, but they actually I think they intentionally use those shot all over again because the time it repeated itself.
Yeah.
So we get the same kind of like deja vu
Yeah.
or things. Yeah. So that makes sense to me. I think that's the visual actually uh elevates the theme.
Oh,
of the
that.
episodes.
See, I don't agree with that. I don't think it elevates it. I think that it just
Right.
communicates what we're meant to understand. That time is looping. But I don't think there's any elevation
Mm.
being done. I mean, this is a far cry from how this show
Right.
started out, and this is a far
Mm.
cry from the series that it's taking its cues from, like Madoka, Utena.
Mm.
Um, it's not the same. Like
All right.
we hardly know anything about Banana. It would
Mm-hmm.
have been really nice if we saw her, the same way that we got the episode about Kalruko and Futaba.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Even
Mm.
though I was not a fan of that episode at all, it took great pains to establish the relationship between those two characters, whether
Mm-hmm.
by showing them as kids, having that little picnic along the riverbank to establish a
Mm-hmm.
backstory,
Yep.
or all the scenes where, like, let's say they're in the bath, or um,
Mm-hmm.
what's that one shot that it keeps going back to? Oh yeah, the dance studio room.
Yep.
It'll
Mm-hmm.
show us a scene of that where the lights are out and you know Kaoruko, or I can't remember which one is which, but one of them is sitting on the hardwood and the other one has her head in the first girl's lap.
Mm-hmm.
Like it just builds their relationship by paying a lot of attention to it and giving us a lot of interaction between those characters in a lot of scenes. It would
Mm-hmm.
have been nice if for Banana's character we got a sense of her really getting attached to one or two characters, like one or two of the other girls in the production, so
Mm-hmm.
that we would understand why she wants to go back, because there's a specific feeling or relationship or something that she is chasing and wants to experience over and
Mm-hmm.
over. But we didn't get that. All we got was
Yep.
time is looping, and she's the
She's
reason
like
for it.
she's the big mama for for every other characters. Well, I can get your complaint, yes, but it also like introduced the main, I think the main conflict for the next episodes, which is that will be the fight between her and
Hikari.
Hikari,
Yes, that
which
is
is,
the
I
that's the
think
one thing I want to praise about this episode was the fact that
mhm,
Hikari is now so much more significant and so much more of a wild card. That
that's
I
right.
that I really do like. So I'm hoping that that episode 8 is going to knock my socks off, because for multiple weeks now I've been underwhelmed. But I do really like the the way Hikari was integrated into this episode.
That's right. So that's actually we see that Hikari role in a different light, and how and actually when you come back to these prior episodes, you can see that Barnard decisions uh, when he carries step into the pictures. So Barnard decision was to step out of the spotlight, which I think we will get to know more in the next episodes or so.
You mean about her not wanting to be a performer and wanting to
Yeah. Yep.
right. I was a little
That's right.
confused. I was a little confused by that,
Mm-hmm.
because
Well,
we
we
never
didn't get
see
into
that.
that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, did we not get that far? Because
No, I think we
she keeps
didn't get that
resetting
far.
time,
Yep. Yep.
so we haven't progressed that far into their second year yet.
That's what I think. Yep. Because so now there is two things that are really interesting. That first, that her deal with her ordeal with Hikari, why she does the way that she did, so she stepped out of the spotlight. I think that there will be some reason that we will know more for the next episodes. And second, why in this timeline especially Hikari came to the pictures and not the previous two or three, that's when Barnard loops the times.
Right. Yeah.
So that's something to look forward to.
Yeah. I'm I'm curious about it. I mean, the
Mm.
thing that I really liked about how Hikari appeared is she interrupted one of Banana's conversations with the giraffe and like threw her, what was it, like a dagger.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I mean, the
It was.
show showed us like visually Banana's position at like her, how she always stands over position 0,
Yep.
Whenever she beats Maya, she's at position 0, and then she makes the deal with the giraffe. We see Hikari throw her dagger into the tape on the floor, like
Mm-hmm.
it's a literal visual interruption
Yep.
of
Mm-hmm.
the same pattern over and over.
That's right. Mm-hmm.
So I wonder why Hikari is. I mean, it probably has something to do with her bond with Karen, right?
Mm-hmm.
She's
Yep.
come back to protect Karen.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So what's the deal then? Is this time loop gonna dominate the rest of the show?
No, I don't think so. I think this time, the timeline where he carry came to the picture is the new one, and it's gonna. So we don't get to see any more time loop soon, because she will be the one who maybe she will be the one who beat Banana, and so Banana wish to time loop to come back the year before will not be done.
Okay. Yeah, I kind of feel as though they're gonna resolve the whole thing with Banana next week,
Well,
but maybe I'm wrong.
no, I do think so because we have like heaps of other characters. But being said that, I still hope that the show will like blow me away next week for
Yeah.
this banana arc.
I'm just, the show just doesn't look like it used to, and
Alright.
that's like upsetting. That's upsetting to me.
Well,
You really
because
cannot trust the first episode of a TV anime production because they just go all
no,
out
you don't.
and then it starts to slowly,
E-
fall off a cliff.
yeah, well, even for the first 3 episodes, we can't tell for sure. That's my experience with Hannibal now. Like the
Oh, it
rest
doesn't
of
look as good
the
anymore.
No. So it's still the look at good. It's just the tone of the show is completely different from the first 3 episodes I watched.
Ah,
But yeah, well, like I think for the last 5-7 minutes, it's just turn me away. So I mean like I'm really looking forward to. I'm still optimistic about the show.
right, about Review Starlight.
Yeah, Review Starlight.
Yeah.
Not Hannibal though.
Right. I hope it's. I mean, I'm still down to watch.
Yeah.
I don't even know what's gonna go on with Banana Fish next week. I might just put it on and my eyes might glaze over and not even pay attention.
Yeah.
It's so bad,
And
in my opinion.
Yep, and for Review Starlight, I think it just for the last few episodes we didn't see any of these review auditions, so that's why on the dude, so that's why it feel like it's underwhelming.
Yeah, maybe. I think that's
Yeah.
definitely part of it, but even if there were no like big show-stopping reviews, which created opportunities for the animation team to really flex their muscles,
Mhm.
they could just structure the story as they have been to not include those duels and just put their resources into the more ordinary scenes. But I'm not even really seeing that.
No, I don't think so. I think they will. It is supposed to be that they will resolve everything in the dude. So that have to be over the top. That have to be spectacular. That have to be like big.
Right.
So yeah.
But-
Hopefully next week the duel between Hikari and Banana will be great. I just
Hopefully
I
so.
just hope that. Yep.
I mean, they've essentially with the reveal in this episode, like the complete change in structure with all the flashbacks and everything. They've promised something big.
Yep.
So now they have to deliver.
That's right. That's right.
We'll see.
All right, we can eat. You have anything else to talk about the show?
Not really, I guess.
All right, so we can either do, just do the Secret of Jaeger.
Right, episode 6. So we're on
Which
we're on a different page with all 3 of the seasonals right now, like a different episode number.
Yep, that's right, that's right. And which I have watched that episodes a week ago. So you have to, like clue me in, clue me in on the on what happening.
Okay. You're just gonna you didn't rewatch it with the new subs. You're just sticking to the whatever translation you had before.
That's right. Yep.
All right. Hey, I don't blame you, man. I haven't gone back and watched any of the review Starlights with good subs. I watched Fly subs this week. I turned on the meme subs for a little bit, but
Yep.
most of them were the same. There were very few differences. I was kind of disappointed.
All right.
Anyway, yeah. I
um.
mean, I don't usually go back and watch with better subs.
Mm-hmm.
So in this episode of Review Starlight,
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, Jaeger.
Chirrut the Jaeger. Yep.
I think the major happening is all the vampires attack the place where they're staying.
Yep.
It's like a big
Mm-hmm.
vampire attack, you know. I can't
Yep.
remember. I don't know exactly what to call the mansion, I guess, where they're staying, and the Baron. I think they refer to him as a Baron.
All right.
The guy,
Oh,
the
I
girl's
know.
father.
Uh, 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 I don't remember her name. Is that the girl in the group in the Vampire Slayers group?
No, not your. I'm talking about the girl with the brown hair, who
Oh,
has been largely
uh,
useless, and she decapitated a guy a couple weeks ago.
yeah, yeah. Hold on. I know her name. I know her name. Ryoko.
Ryoko, okay, that's
Yep.
right. I mean that was the big thing that happened in this episode was all the vampires
Yep.
attacked her father's estate, his mansion,
Yep. 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 Yep.
and
So
Kirshner and Mikhail are among them.
yep. So I for that show, this is a show that like plot oriented more than like characters focus. So the plot had to raise the bar, had to raise the stake high in order for us to like, to really get into the story and yep, and basically the shows. So I think this episode where they raise the stake into like only vampires, then like the huge hundreds vampires come into like attack our team is
Yeah,
actually like it's good in terms of the shows, you know yeah,
I
quality. So
I
I think it's
guess
good.
yeah, it's all right. I mean the main thing that I was struck by when watching this episode is that it doesn't look like crap.
Wow, it's still it's the only show that after 7 episodes the quality that doesn't drip.
Yeah, I mean based PA Works with
Yep.
their dozens of mediocre productions that at least stay looking the same. I can at least be thankful for that.
Yeah, and actually, I think this is like one of the new movement from PA work, where they concentrate more on original productions. So next week we have next season we have another original productions, which I'm really looking forward to.
What from PA Works?
From PA work, that's the
Oh, is it
one
the
with
one
the
where the girl goes back in time?
yep.
Okay. Is that an original?
That's original.
Sounds like the plot of a light novel.
It does.
Okay, but yeah, I'm glad it's original, and I think that's actually one of the shows that I have my eye on for next season.
Mhm.
But
Same here.
as for this episode of Jaeger, um, I mean I think the where the show is headed is there there are two different characters who have a conversation with Yuri about whether he's going to kill his brother or not, or whether he should be so focused on revenge.
Mm-hmm.
The professor talks to him about it near the start, and then
Yep.
Philip also, whose
Mm-hmm.
parents were killed by werewolves, or a
Yep.
werewolf. I mean, Yuli kind of asks him, aren't you also like obsessed with getting revenge? Isn't that all you think about?" And he says, "Yeah, of course I want to take revenge, but I don't think it's something that should consume you." So
Mm-hmm.
that's in terms of this not just being totally plot driven and having characters that you can actually connect with. That's where they're trying to hit you the hardest, is
Mm.
Yuri grappling with like whether he's going to kill his
Mikhail.
brother, whether he's going to continue to kill vampires at all.
Yep.
But I mean, obviously, it's an action show, so of course he's going to keep killing vampires. So that really doesn't. None of that really worked for me.
All right.
He's going to keep
I
killing vampires. He's a vampire hunter, and that's what the show's about, and that's who he is. That's what he's going to do.
Yep. Yep. Well, the main emotional core of the show is about Yuri and his brother Mikhail. And as far as the show does, I'm still I'm still support this, because I think that's one of the best thing the show have done so far. The
Yeah,
relationship between Yuri and Mikhail.
yeah, I
They
agree.
still intriguing. Mikhail is like one of pretty good characters. I think one of the best character in this show.
Yeah, he
Like
holds my attention.
yeah, well, yeah. Every time he's come to the screen, he have your intentions.
Yeah, and this episode promised to fight with him, you know,
Mm-hmm.
in the next one.
Yep.
That's the cliffhanger.
So yeah, so as long as the show doesn't screw up on the relationship, like don't make it cheap. The relationship between Ulysses and his brother, I still get behind the show. The show won't lose me.
Um, well, that's good.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I
How
can't
about
really
you?
say that I care too much about either of them. I think that is one of the show's biggest selling points, I suppose.
Mm-hmm.
One of its largest sources of appeal. But all the same, I don't feel as though it's particularly sold me as a whole, or that it's particularly appealing. You know, because I don't really
Mm-hmm.
like the characters very much. But that's the
Y-
same thing that I've been saying about all five of the previous. I mean, I really did love the episode from 2 weeks ago.
yep. Mm-hmm.
But in general, I don't know. I don't care that much for if I knew more about like what the arc of Sirius was, or
Yep.
how
Well,
Yuri is supposed to like embody it, or how he's supposed to find it.
well.
Um,
Yep. Yuli doesn't know himself.
yeah, none of us does, and
Yep.
it's kind of frustrating. Like I would like to know, please. We're halfway
Yeah.
through.
Well, I still think that the plot all come together at this point. So yeah,
You think that it has come together?
it has come together. Like everything come together towards the same goal, towards the same directions.
Yeah, kind of,
So
because everybody knows
yep,
about vampires now. Like
yep.
the investigator guy from the military.
Mm-hmm.
You
eBay.
know,
Oh, is
yeah,
that his name?
yeah.
Iba. Yep.
He has that meeting with the bartender in this episode,
Yep. Mm-hmm.
which I didn't totally understand. The bartender is sitting on the he's sitting on the bench, and then eBay shows up, and the
Yep.
bartender says you're new, as though he typically has meetings with somebody else. And then the investigator's like, "Oh yeah, tell me everything you know about the so and so from Alma Shipping Company." I don't understand this. Like, it's the bartender's the one who sits down and asks for information, not recognizing who eBay is. And then eBay's like, "Oh yeah, you've never met me before, but I'm gonna need you to tell me a whole bunch of stuff now." I don't really get the link between their characters.
Well, from what I take, I think they know each other before. It just they doesn't know their each other's like real identities. It's more like they all use the alias to get the information they want. So now, when that guy revealed that he actually the police officers or police detective, actually that freaked the guy out.
Yeah, it did, but I don't think there was any reason to believe that they had known each other before.
And
He says like, I don't recognize you," or "You're a new face," or something like that.
is it that what he say? Well,
I think he just says "you're new,"
I
but
just
from that, I don't think there's any reason take away that they knew each other before. Like, I just don't get the entire point of the scene. The detective guy is still, the investigator is still getting shoehorned in. Oh my
The
gosh.
I remember the sub that I watched. The bartender guy said that it's a long time to see you actually.
That is definitely not what my subtitles said.
All right, well, I we will double check on that later.
I'm probably not gonna double check, just being honest. I don't think I'm gonna I don't think I'm gonna check.
All right,
Hey,
I
but
will
you
do
know
that.
that makes the scene make more sense. So maybe Should Sub Guy is actually the best.
All right.
I might have to get on that.
Well, if you can get used to Secret Act as the serious box, if you can get used to that, you go to my sub.
Hey, I can do anything. When it
Well,
comes to subtitles, I can do anything.
Is it any similar between the serious Act and the serious box? I just don't even get it.
I don't know. And I don't really care that much either. Like all the stuff about the conversation between Yuri and Philip
Yep.
is supposed to be, they're both like they're both wounded, they've lost their families, and that's supposed to be like really emotional and meaningful, and I was just like, yawn,
Uh-huh.
whatever.
Yeah, just happened. Something just happened.
I I don't really care too much. All the stuff with the girl. Oh yeah, the girl's father is gonna die for sure. They hoisted the death flag to full
Yeah.
mast. He says all that stuff about no dad ever wants to see their daughter die before them. 'Cause she wants to
Yeah.
go out and help with the fight, and he's like, no, you stay here.
Nah, nah.
So he's gonna bite the bullet in the next one.
Yeah, which actually makes sense so that she can join the Vampire Slayers team, which I'm alright with that.
It's so transparent though. Your parent dies, and so you join up with the resistance.
Talking about the story like the trope on this show, it's actually embrace every single tropes. So yes, if we think of something that will probably gonna be happening.
Yeah. Well,
Eh,
that's fine. At the
yeah.
very least, it doesn't. It looks like itself. The show
Mm-hmm.
has not become a completely different beast, visually speaking.
Mm-hmm. And I actually I can guess how you feel frustrating about all the shows because usually like on those week in between like weeks episode 7 6 7 into like 9 and 10 it's where the story come at the lowest.
What before the
So
the finale?
yeah, so before the climax
This
and
this
when
wouldn't happen if we didn't just have 13 and 12 episode orders for shows all the time,
that's
like we
right.
do now.
And for the first few episodes, like for the first 3 or 4, that will be the introduction phase. We get to know all the character, we get to know where the story heading. So this is the time where like they need to get to have a chop in order to make the story coming forward and still keep our interest.
Yeah.
And most of them fail. One of them make you yawn.
Yeah. I just that was a serious the Jaeger yawn right there.
Yep. So
But
all
I
right.
mean I know I've said it 3 times already, but I really do appreciate that it still looks okay.
Yep.
That's just so rare apparently
Mhm.
now.
Yep. I I can only think of Kyoto Animation who keep the quality consistency for like every single episodes of the seasons.
Yeah.
The
They've got a new show next season.
or Bones or even Bones they're alright.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yep.
There's no Bones show next season though, I don't think. They're saving it all up for Mob Psycho.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And I might be wrong, who knows.
Alright.
All right, we're going to
Next
do High Score Girl
high
or
score. Yep.
okay.
Let's do high
All
score
right.
girl for them 3.
Yeah, so these are chapters 16 to 21,
Mm-hmm.
and they were pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
They're all right.
Right.
Definitely not as head over heels for this volume as I was for the last one, because volume 2 is where Hiraka is introduced,
Yep.
and her presence just carries over into this one, which is fine. I still think she's great, and I
Mm-hmm.
still really like the story, but there's not that, like, breath of fresh air effect where you're like, oh my god, the series has just leveled up so much.
Mm-hmm. All right. This volume is more about the main guy, Haruo and Onosan.
Yeah, because she's come back from America.
Yep. So they join into the same competition in Kyoto,
Yeah, it's a
and
class trip. They go on a class trip, and the two of them sneak
yep.
away to the Street Fighter 2 tournament.
Oh, one up tangent. You remember the scenes where when they are into the big butter statue?
The big butter statue.
Y- Yep. Where Haruo said to his friend that he gonna live for the tournaments.
Um,
Re- Remember, like all the girls had to like go through the pile of
oh
you know
yes,
yeah
was that thing made out of
that
butter? I did not.
all
That
right.
wasn't
So
made out of butter, was it?
made of what? Sorry.
Did you say butter?
No. It's not made of butter. So
Oh,
it's
Buddha.
like Buddha. Yep.
Yes. Okay. Sorry. Yes, I do remember where all of his classmates were trying to squeeze through that hole because it means that
Yep.
you've attained enlightenment. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. So I was there before in real
Oh,
life.
really? Did you make it through?
No, I didn't go through. I didn't know the meaning of going through the whole. But
You
all the
missed the chance
Western,
to achieve
all the
enlightenment. Think about how
all the
amazing this
Western.
podcast would be if you had made it through. We'd be
Well,
the
you
insanely successful.
you know what? If I make through that hole, I'm not gonna be here talking to you in the podcast. I'm
Yeah,
gonna be
that's true. You wouldn't be
somewhere else.
talking about anime. You'd
Yeah,
be advising, like, world leaders and stuff. Or you'd have
yeah.
transcended this plane altogether.
Maybe I'm just a new PM of Australia. I don't know. Um, so yeah, so I was there. That actually not in Kyoto, but in Nara. Nara is the old capital of Japan, even before Kyoto.
The capital moved around a lot in Japan, right? Because power was constantly changing
It,
hands and stuff.
yeah, but there are only like three main capitals. So for first one is Nara, and then they moved to Kyoto, and then later on they moved to Tokyo, which is now.
I see. Well, that was
So
a pretty enlightened
oh
educational lesson
yeah.
right there.
Oh, and one more fact that when I was there, like all the Western guys, like big fat Western guy, tried to go through that hole. So that's one of the reason why I didn't like even try to.
Big fat Western guys.
Sorry,
That's us.
that's stereotype.
Hey, I could stand to lose a few pounds, I guess.
All right, so let's not talk about this.
We don't have to talk
This
about the
manga.
butter statue anymore.
Um, so yeah, so like Haruo had always been wanted to fight on the games with Ono-sans
Right.
for for as long as they've been a friend too, and they got the chance to actually do it in the tournaments.
Yeah,
I
because there wasn't a
it
chance before. She broke her big win streak when he came
Yep.
by because she didn't want to play him. She was upset with him for, you know,
hmm some
him
reasons.
having been hanging out with Hidaka and not seeking her out right away, probably.
Is
Like
it the
she,
reason? Maybe.
yeah, she's under the impression that he doesn't, like, remember their farewell at the airport, and that he doesn't feel the same way anymore. You know, I have to. I mean, she doesn't talk, so we don't know that definitively. But
Yep.
why does she
You
not
seem
talk? That's so dumb.
you seem to understand her better than me
Who, Ono?
because he oh no because he doesn't talk. So I'm like Haruo doesn't really know what she's been thinking.
I mean, she's constantly like blushing around him, and
Uh,
she's mad.
Hitting
We
him.
see her looking, yeah, hitting him. Ha ha ha! So funny. We see we see her looking out the window of her limo in Volume 2 and seeing him with Hidaka, and like she's pissed about that. And then in this volume, they actually get into like a big fist fight
Yep.
because
Well,
he.
I
Go ahead.
yep. I think that fight was they put it more into more like of the street fight on the games, so they I actually like exaggerate a bit of that of the fight. They do fight each other though.
Yeah, because he says that she's a pain in the ass.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And if I mean, if you're a girl and you like some guy and he says that about you, you're gonna be like extremely mad. Well, it depends on your personality how you'd react, but it certainly wouldn't make you feel like, you know, happy.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And so she being the violent type, you know,
Mm-hmm.
she actually goes all out and like and beats him up.
Yep. I
Hilarious.
one hilarious. It's hilarious. Come on.
I'm not coming on. I'm not going anywhere. It's really not that funny.
Alright, there's one bit of the manga that many characters repeatedly ask Haruo what is his relationship to Ono-san,
Yeah.
and I actually found that a bit obvious, a, a bit too on the nose.
Yeah.
It's just like if some of the characters like Hidaka ask him about that, it would be alright. But then we have like a guy who basically confessed to Ono, got rejected, and then just saw Haruo and talk about all that. It just doesn't make any sense. It's just a
I
bit too much.
disagree. I
Alright,
disagree.
tell me.
And the reason for that is that based on the way that the mangaka of High Score Girl portrays elementary and middle schoolers and just people
Yep.
in general, like he draws them with, you know, upturned noses and crazy eyes, and like they're drooling and they have buck teeth, and they're
Yep.
that he doesn't have a very high opinion of a lot of the characters in his world apart from the main ones. So
Uh-huh.
he kind of views them as like kind of base and stupid, and so it would
Yeah.
make sense for everybody to be like, oh, you know, what's your relationship with her, because they're all obsessed about that sort of thing. Think about the
Mhm.
like in volume maybe Volume 1 or no, it's yeah, chapter 8, maybe the amusement park chapter. The
Yep.
girl who's like obsessed with private parts.
Yeah.
Like
Well, see, you remember
every
her, right?
yeah, and she's recurred multiple times. You know, she's obsessed with Meow, his
Yep.
friend,
Mhm.
who is thinking about confessing to Ono. Anyway, the point of what I'm saying is that the guy who's writing this manga, he doesn't have a very high opinion of people. He kind of views them as like nosy, stupid. So yeah, they're gonna ask because they all like worship Ono. So naturally they're gonna be like, oh yeah, what's, you know, why are people always seeing you around with her? What's the deal with that?
Yep.
And also, I
But-
mean, that you see that kind of thing pop up in anime and manga all the time, like that there's a
Yeah,
class
well-
idol and everyone is just obsessed with them and is trying to deny the main character any sort of interaction with them.
Yep.
One thing
Well-
that I did think was obvious and dumb was Meow saying to Hidaka
Uh-huh.
that Haruo is only going to get more and more attractive to other women, so you better like snatch him
Yeah.
up now. I thought that was stupid.
Well, I actually like the way he talked before that. So all the lines that he realized how Hidaka lies Haruo. I actually thought that was cool. Yeah, but the way that he talked about Haruo's like will be more attractive in the future on this kind of stuff, I think it one of the main reasons is just he want Hidaka to take actions.
Yeah, I agree, but I mean, there's still a human being writing this manga, and that was the way he chose to go about it. Like,
Yeah.
what are you talking about? He's gonna get more and more attractive to women. He's a freaking nerd. He has like weird stringy black hair, and he's obsessed with video games. He has no social skills. He's not attractive to anyone. Hidaka and
All
Ono
right.
are both really weird for liking him.
Are you talking about me?
What do you mean? Am I talking about you?
Uh, well, black hair. What?
Uh,
Attracted to games? Oh, I'm not attracted to games.
there are billions of people with black hair. Of course, I'm not talking about you.
All right.
I like think about how Meow looks. Like he's given like the blonde. I mean, he has a bowl cut. A lot of characters in this
Archetypes.
manga do, probably because that was
Mhm.
like a popular haircut in the '90s. But
Mhm.
he's just presented as there being like nothing quote unquote wrong with him.
Mhm.
Whereas that's not the case for Haruo. He's always making weird faces, and people are thinking that he's like a piece of crap. And
Mhm.
Hidaka is constantly expressing her disappointment in him and how she hates guys like him. And what are you talking about? He's going to become more attractive to women. Can you see? You have some kind of
He
crystal? You have some kind of crystal ball? He's going to turn out to be like George
no
Clooney or something.
no. I see one sense of what he say is that because Haruo just want to do what he want to do. He's he's more like a guy who know what he want, and he will try his best to do that. So yeah, that's one quality characteristic about him, but not like the whole things.
I mean, what Meow actually says is that the reason that he's going to be attracted to people is because he's like kind-hearted. He's
Oh yeah,
actually he that's what he says
that
specifically, and I don't even think that's true.
yeah. Well, because we don't need to to remind it how kind-hearted he is, and we actually don't see that as well.
Yeah, he's not a terribly kind person. He's not very sensitive to how other people are feeling. Although
Mhm.
that's part of the appeal of this volume, I think, is that he does start to like pay closer attention to what other people are thinking, feeling, and how he feels himself about Ono
Mhm.
specifically.
Well, yeah, it's actually interesting because game wise, he always feel that he inferior as compared to Ono. He said that too many times that like I'm consider you as a ex rival, but do I really like have a say on that? Because how Ono just like constantly perfect at games.
Yeah. I mean, eventually he changes his tune and says that she's so far above me. She's like so unreachable, and her skill level is so unattainable for me that I can't even consider her a rival. He
Hmm.
thinks that to himself a couple times, like she's just this godlike figure I'll never catch up. But he does beat her in the tournament in chapter 19 because her punch button wasn't
Yep.
working.
So yes, so you can see like his sense of achievement when he actually beat Ono on the games, which is supposed to be like like they try their best. Ono actually tried her best on that game, just that she have a handicap, a
Yeah.
stupid handicap to say. But well, because Ono being Ono without saying anything, so that acceptable. The way the manga showed that to us is a bit on the nose as well, but I kind of don't mind about it. I I think it's a aura twist that make like Haruo just getting or like get hurt gung ho again, and then come to Ono and they have a fist fight, which is good.
All
I
right.
like everything that happened afterwards.
The things that I really liked were also took
Yeah.
place after the fist fight, but as for that conflict itself, I was like, I didn't even take note of that. Like I didn't write it down in my notes on any of these chapters. I thought that was kind of silly.
All right. Mm-hmm.
Although with them kind of being each other's rivals, you know, maybe some kind of conflict like that was inevitable. You would just
Mm-hmm.
hope that it wouldn't be physical, but you know, it's fine, whatever. The things that
Yeah.
the things that were born out of that conflict, like the
Mm-hmm.
relationship between them kind of going back to normal because they worked out their frustrations.
Yeah.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
I really like the way that Haruo like slowly comes to grips with what he's feeling. Because first he thinks
Mm-hmm.
that it's really exciting to be with her because she's, you know, she's so good at games and she's somebody who he can really talk to. Um,
Yep.
and then he thinks to himself, no, what I really want is just to be with her as an individual. And then in the next
Yep.
chapter, chapter
Uh,
21, he says he goes one step further and says it would be nice to watch gaming, like gaming history. It would be nice to watch it unfold with you, as in
yeah.
he like wants to be with her, not just this isn't just like an impermanent feeling. It's something that he would like to see this
Yeah.
play out over a larger stretch of time. And then finally he thinks to
Yep.
himself, okay, I'm actually going to confess to her if I make it, you know, if I get in,
Yep.
which he does not.
Yep.
So
All right. And
for that build up
yep.
to happen so like slowly, and for him to like
Mm-hmm.
not suddenly have like a bolt of lightning hit him and realize, oh yeah, no, she's the girl of my dreams. Let's be together.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Yep.
it kind of happens quickly, like over the span of a couple of chapters, but he's been thinking about it for a while, and so the
Mm-hmm.
you know the phrasing, especially in since this is like a fan translation, I think the phrasing of a lot of these like realizations or epiphanies that he has is really good because they none of them come on too strong until he finally thinks at the end, okay, it's time now. And then
Yep.
then that all of a sudden we're frustrated because he doesn't get there.
Yeah. So that feeling that he have for Ono actually reflect to Hidaka's feeling to him as well, because Hidaka also think the same thing when she spend the time with Haruo, that she just want to spend more time with him,
Right.
and I like that. And I think what this manga the best is it, like what you say, the progressions of all the feeling that this character have, so they building up properly. It's never feel rushed. It's always feel like right.
Yeah.
So yes, Haru eventually, like come to realize his feeling, come to term with that, and he also thinking of confess that to her. That's like a big character act to him, to us as well, to see him change. And
Yeah.
it never and it never feel like awkward or anything. So yeah, it's I
He
think
even
that's how
studies.
you done the yeah, that's right, that's how you done the character development right.
Yeah, I do think that the way the characters are slowly moving through their lives and processing their emotions, I think it feels very appropriate, very believable,
Mm-hmm.
which is good. Um,
Yeah, and
uh,
this is a coming of age story as well, so that had to be believable, and it did.
yeah. Poor Hidaka. She gets like a big
Ah,
opportunity when she and Haruo are left behind by the train because he's getting the like
yep,
the soda for the teacher with motion sickness.
yep.
So they end up left
You
behind by
you
the
know,
train. Do I know what?
yep. But yeah, I think she was more frustrating because she was left behind more than she enjoyed spending time with him.
Yeah, I mean she was definitely frustrated, but in the end they do like they get to go to that lake and she thinks to herself, you know, this is like a date, and then
Mm-hmm.
they go to the arcade, and of course she's obsessed with all the games there, and she's like, why are you such a game nerd?
Yeah,
Um, but she still enjoys the opportunity. Like she's given a good chance, and in fact she says something out loud like what does she
That feel
say?
like that.
Yeah, well she
It,
says that, but she also says she wouldn't mind if people assumed that they were going out. And then we
oh
see
yeah,
her say that on a panel, and then the next page, he's gone. He's already gone off to an arcade or
yep,
something. So
that's right. Yep.
she like musters a decent amount of courage in order to say that, but it doesn't pay off. So I appreciate the fact that she communicates, like she can talk, she can say stuff,
Mm.
even if Haruo is thick as a brick and like it doesn't really penetrate his skull, or he just like jets
Yep.
off to go play video games when she's wanting to say something really like meaningful. Um, I I
Yep.
just relate to her so much more than I do Ono.
Then yep. Well, I think this manga does a lot of things right. So as we say, the character development, how all the how how all the feeling develop like thoroughly towards like their character acts. I also enjoy Haruo and Onos and they're related to games. So games is a part of their personality of their characteristics and how they using them as a mean to develop their own relationship. But for me, the best thing about this manga that always keep me come back to is Hidaka. So every time that she appears on page, it just like brighten the page for me.
Yeah, yeah, she's my
Personally,
favorite.
just me personally,
She also
she's my
he
favorite.
yeah. I mean she's mine too. Hidaka also and I think it's chapter 18 when Haruo is getting ready to go enter the Street Fighter 2 tournament. And
Uh-huh.
this actually relates to what you were saying before about the statue. The people are trying to
Yep.
squeeze through.
Mm-hmm.
All of his
Yep.
classmates are doing that and are trying to squeeze through, and he's like, "Oh, I don't have time for this. I'm going. I'm leaving." And
Yep.
his peers are like mocking him and saying that he's unenlightened and just a game nut, and he'll never amount to anything.
Yep.
This, that, and the other. And she thinks to himself, he must be lonely. Like it must be
Mm-hmm.
lonely to live that
Mm-hmm.
way, for people to look down on you that way.
The
And
Yep.
and then
But
he leaves
so-
and goes and competes in the tournament. But she identifies the fact that he leads kind of a lonely life.
Yep. Well,
And then
but
he
the
does.
fact that
Go ahead.
sorry. Yep. No, you go ahead. You go ahead. You finish the thought.
2 chapters later, Haruo actually realizes the same thing about Ono, because usually after
Right.
they play a game, she'll like
Yep.
get up and leave and go do something else. But she stays and watches
Yep.
him play Virtua Fighter, kind of in the same way that Hidaka does, like watching over his shoulder.
Mm.
Ono actually watches him play. And Haruo realizes that for her to be doing this and not to be just wandering around doing her own thing, she must feel lonely.
Mm. Yep.
Maybe as a result of her time in America spent away from the guy that she really likes, and through whom she has the most fun with video games.
Mm.
So there, and I mean, I feel like Hidaka is the same way. I feel like she's probably a lonely person too. So it helps that these characters are all bound together by the fact that they're similarly disadvantaged. They're they're all really fixated on one thing. Maybe not Hidaka so
Mhm.
much, although she is pretty fixated on Haruo. But they're all
That's
kind of
right.
like peas in a pod at this point.
Mm.
The story
Yep.
takes pains to set them apart from their classmates.
Yep.
Go
Yeah.
ahead.
So one thing that I like to elaborate is when Hidaka think about Haruo as he must be lonely. It's the fact that make it sadder is that how Haruo think about that himself as well. He always think that he's like kind of the guy who always slack off, and people would like doesn't mind him so much. And I think he tell Hidaka many times like that, like why you even hanging out with me, you
Right.
don't need to hanging out with a guy like me.
Yeah.
So
That's true.
yeah, I think that make that fact sadder.
Yeah.
And
It is sad.
also,
It's sad
yep.
that that all three of them like struggle so much to just
Mhm.
to fit in, to be accepted. They struggle even just to be in public places and uh
Yep.
just be like with people because they
Mm.
would rather not. Maybe not
Yep.
Ono because Haruo I maybe this is Haruo misinterpreting things, but he does say that Ono likes to be around others.
Alone.
No,
Oh.
no,
Mm.
around others. He at one point he says that. But I don't know how true that
Mm.
is.
Mm. Mm. And I also love how these character think. You know, like when on in the manga when they say something, you can see like there's another line of what they think to
Right.
himself, to themselves. I actually like on these things in this manga because sometimes it's hilarious, sometimes it's say a bit more about the characters, how they think about the like every other things. I just love that.
Yeah.
One of these tiny things that I love about this shows about this manga.
Yeah, it's touching, it's entertaining, it's funny.
Mm.
And
Warm.
next is the high school arc, I guess.
Right,
And
right.
I assume that the rest of it takes place in high school. You don't have to tell me whether I'm right or wrong, but that's just my it's my assumption.
Well,
Like I
because every story in Japan will happen in high school.
yeah,
So
well
yeah,
that's
you're probably right.
maybe. We'll see. All right, where do you want to go to Nadia now? Do you have anything else to say about High Score Girl?
Yep,
You
that's
do?
right. So the next chapter, no, just closing off. The
Right.
next manga of the next volume of High Score Girl, the manga will be from 21 to 25.
20 we already
And
read
then
21.
all right, so that's from 22 to 26, I think. So that's like 5 to 6 chapters.
Yeah, 5 chapters. This one was 6 chapters. We're
All
slowing
right,
down a
yep,
little bit.
5 chapters. Hmm. So yeah, looking forward to that.
Yeah, me too. All right,
All
let's talk
right,
about the end of Nadia.
all right. Just I just let me tell you first about how I feel about the finales, which I think is perfect. It just I have little to no complaint about how everything play out.
Wow. Nice. That's
Well,
good.
yeah,
I mean, it's a definite step up
because
from what came before. But
yep,
I'm surprised to hear that you have like no complaints about it.
yeah, because I have it just close off the best is it could. That's what I feel. I for all those for episodes, I just like watch and one more and don't even think about like how it would have changed. So yeah,
I think the
enjoy the
most
whole ride.
amazing, yeah, I'm glad to hear that. I think
Yep,
especially since it might encourage you to watch Evangelion,
yep.
because
I
this,
actually think of that at one point.
yeah, if I mean if you want, it's obviously it's not exactly the same, but if you want another show that feels kind of like Nadia, Ava is it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it doesn't have quite as much of an adventurous spirit, but
Mm-hmm.
there are so many similarities, and I noticed a lot of other ones in these 4 episodes. But I
Yep.
think the most amazing thing about them is that they go into space, and it doesn't feel
Yep.
too strange. It doesn't feel weird that they go into space because
That's right.
most
That's
of it
right.
has been set up. We already know that the
Mm-hmm.
Atlanteans are an alien race that came to Earth 2.4 million years ago. So obviously,
Mm-hmm.
if they came to Earth, they got here in a spaceship, and we already know that there's like a red ark and a blue ark, blah blah blah, Noah's Ark. So there are a bunch of there
Mm-hmm.
are and there are a bunch of different Atlantean civilizations with ancient relics. So you
Yep.
kind of just have the general sense that that's where we might be headed, and in fact, that's where we go. But despite all,
Yep.
I mean, in spite of all that, we still go into space for the last 4 episodes. It's it's weird, but it doesn't feel out of place.
No. No. It does. It doesn't. No.
So I think that's the most remarkable thing about it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I mean, I I have little problems with it here and there,
Yep.
but
All right, tell me some of these problems.
well, the I actually don't even want to really get into them. I mean, the show does wrap after such a long like after sidetracking itself for so long, the show does manage to
Yeah.
wrap itself up um, pretty well, and it does it in the same fashion that it resolved a lot of conflicts in the past. Like the Grandis gang,
Mm-hmm.
they take their little ship in there and
Yep.
they stop the what was it called, the Tower of Babel,
Yeah,
whatever.
the tower
So
label. Yep.
so the Grandis gang, they do their thing, and then Captain Nemo, he's in his captain's chair telling
Mm-hmm.
them to like do a whole bunch of suicide runs, and when they're like, no, but that'll blow up the ship, he says, come
Yeah.
on, do it
Yeah.
anyway. So that's always this that's the same as it was. So it's fine. The show stays true to itself while adding, the dynamic between Nemo and his son, Neo.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
I I
I think it's good. I think it's okay. I was not like I wasn't blown away by it, but I will say that this show ends so much better than Evangelion does, because
uh, uh oh
Evangelion's TV ending is like legendarily disappointing.
bad. Yeah,
Yeah.
but did you watch the movies come after this? After the TV series
Oh
of
yeah,
Evangelion.
yeah. End of Evangelion.
Yep.
It's a crazy, amazing film.
Yeah. Yeah.
It
I
yeah, it is.
it polarizing as well.
Oh
From what I
yes.
heard.
It's very polarizing. It would have to be you know, given what it is. But the nice
Uh,
thing about Secret of Blue Water is that this show doesn't need a movie like that. It resolves itself pretty well. Although the very
right.
last shot that we get is one of like a little 16-year-old
Yeah.
girl or something who's married to a much older man and is like pregnant with this child.
Oh yeah, but it's alright. It's just like a very tiny mark on the ending that I think like basically perfect for me. So
Yeah, I
I will
think it's
tell you
okay too.
yeah, I will tell you some of the things that I like about this the whole thing.
All right.
Um, I really like the character design of Nemo and Electra when they come back.
Oh, I agree 100%. Electra looks fine.
They yeah they just look like they have been through a lot.
Yeah, and
Which
she cuts her hair, which is like
yeah.
anime's shorthand for, oh man, this woman has really been through some hard times.
Well, but she look amazing to me.
Oh yeah, I totally agree. And Nemo looks like something out of out of Moby Dick.
Out of the jungle.
Yeah, he looks
Yep.
like a savage, and not in the way
But
people use
but
that word now, but like he looks like an actual, like he looks like some kind of mythic figure, like a
yeah, but
legend.
he that's right. He still look awesome, despite all the hairs and stuff.
Yeah.
And the other thing that I like is how they actually give the some character act of Nemo Sons,
Yeah.
and how he resolve everything. I think that's a good piece of like character writing, for a character to appear very little to the story, he adds up. I still don't like how the main villains just acts like like the main bad guys. But well, apart from that, um, everyone in every like main characters have some roles in the in the climax.
Yeah.
Pretty much love it.
I thought it was kind of interesting what they did with Gargoyle because based on the hologram in Nemo's cabin,
Yep. Mm-hmm.
that showed another man. I thought
Yep.
for sure that he was like Nadia's uncle. That he was
He
Nemo's brother.
he
But he
does
ended up being
right.
no, he's human. Remember, because he
Ah,
uh he turns into like a pillar of salt, like
yeah,
Lot's
but
wife in the Bible.
alright, that's the thing that I don't really get my head on because from what Nemo said, it's just like two people are the true um
There are only two Atlanteans left.
yeah.
It's
So
him and his
that would
daughter.
be alright. So that would be Nemo and the wife. I don't know.
It would Nemo and Nadia. She's an Atlantean.
Alright. So how about Neo?
I mean, he's dead by that point, isn't he?
Alright. So that's what the two who have the blue water
Right.
would be the two athlete Atlanteans.
Yeah, Atlanteans.
Mm.
Although I thought Electra was an Atlantean.
Yeah, but yeah, that's just a twist though. So, right. But yeah, that also speak a lot to like what constitutes still humans, because I like the idea that they said like on the at Atlant build the humans just like themselves to look like themselves.
Right. Yeah, they did the whole thing with Adam,
Yeah,
like the
yeah,
first
that
human who
that
they
as well.
create, and he's like the supercomputers that we built in the '80s that were so big you could like walk inside of them.
Yeah,
So their first attempt was similarly huge. That was kind of prescient. Like it was
yeah.
interesting that the show would be able to identify. They made it really big the first time because they weren't advanced enough yet. They didn't have enough practice yet to make it small.
Hmm.
Kind of mirrors what's going on, today with like cell phones getting smaller and smaller and stuff like that.
Right, right, right. Yep.
What?
So yeah, it just finished. It just finished the best way it could. I have nothing else to say actually. You
I mean, I
you have
probably have some
any other
stuff.
points? Yeah.
Uh, I was talking about Gargoyle before. I thought it
Hmm.
was, I thought it was strange that he was human all along and he was trying to destroy humans. But
Hmm.
the thing is, and this is where the ending suffers for me, is that we don't know enough about Gargoyle or about Atlantis, or about like or about Neo or about any of the backstory. We
Yep.
don't know enough about that
Yep.
for it to really hit home. Like it's
Right.
obviously it's very touching that Nemo, he sacrifices his life and his blue water so that Nadia can bring John back.
Hmm.
Um, and he says, like this is all I can do for you as your father. He sacrifices himself so to blow up the ship, I guess, so that they can
Hmm.
escape. Or I wasn't
Yep.
totally clear on how that worked, but he has to blow himself up in order to create a path for them to get back to Earth and live on.
Yep.
Um,
Yep.
but the like how jumbled all the mythology was leading up to this point, like Red Noah,
All
Blue
right.
Noah, Noah's Ark, everybody having a different name, all the stuff with Atlantis and
All right.
just
My theory is when the Atlantean
mhm.
got to into the earth, there are like only two real of them, so that they are Atlantean, the aliens. So they actually come from another universe. The
Yeah.
people who eventually settled out, them as well are Atlantean, but they are more like human now. So they have like they experience all these high technologies. They live in that society, the Atlantic City, but like in essence they are human. They're not the aliens.
Oh,
So that's what I get.
I think I just realized something. I think
All right.
Nemo and his wife were the
Yep.
only two Atlanteans who came to
Mm-hmm.
Earth.
All right.
I
I
think they
think
were
that makes sense.
I think they were the only ones, and everyone else was human.
Yep.
So over time, like Gargoyle, they ruled over humanity.
Yep.
And
Yep.
but
Yep.
eventually Nemo like came to see the error of his ways, and so he kind of partnered with humanity instead. And so
Mm-hmm.
Gargoyle at some point was like, if at first Nemo and Atlantis ruled over humanity,
Yep.
then as generations went by and went by and went by, then that probably would have been lost, and everybody kind of would have
Yep.
just thought of themselves as Atlanteans maybe. And so Gargoyle is
Mm-hmm.
probably that's like where his mentality comes from. He's probably descended
Yep.
from, you know, humans, or maybe he has a little bit of Atlantean blood in him or something. I don't know. But
Yep.
he thinks of himself as belonging to Atlantis when all along maybe that's what Nemo meant when he said there were only two. It was like
Yep. So
maybe you were
they
right. Maybe
choose
it
like
was him and his wife. They're the only like quote unquote
yep.
true Atlanteans.
So that's like two blood, and all of these others are mixed blood. Like they mix with the humans blood,
I don't
or some kind of stuff.
I don't even know about that because his two kids,
No.
his son and his
Yep.
daughter, Neo and Nadia,
Yep.
um, isn't he like super old? I'm thinking now that
Yeah.
Nemo might be like 2.4 million years old,
Yep.
and that he was
Mm.
the one who actually came to Earth, and his blue water was sustaining his life force.
Yeah, I think so as well. Well, I think
Because
that makes sense.
that's why he dies when he gives it to Nadia.
Yep.
But see, the
Yep.
thing is, we have to do all this speculation because the mythology was not clearly laid down, and Ava kind of suffers from this as well, although not as
Mm.
much. The
All right.
mythology is like it's just in the background, and there's a lot of terms and names like Tartessos and Taurus Megistos, and everybody has like a different name, and it's just very, I don't know, like not. It's on the one hand the show benefits from it because it doesn't get bogged down in explaining all of it. It doesn't have to do info dumps and stuff. But on the other hand, you don't totally feel how big
It's
a
built
deal
up
it
too
is.
much.
What?
Yep. Yeah. We don't know like how yeah how important it is because it doesn't build up properly.
Yeah, yeah, pretty much. Um, so I guess I'm of two minds about how. I mean, on the one hand, I think Nadia does a good thing by not getting too bogged down in it. On the other hand, they needed to get a little more bogged down in it.
Yep. Yep.
But
Well,
I do think
that
that the
that's I
finale hits
agree.
a lot of the right emotional beats.
Right. I agree with that as well. So now that we watched the whole thing, do you think that the newcomers need to watch on the filler episodes?
Um, I no. They
Well,
probably
at
have to
this
watch
part,
30 and 31.
Yep. So I think it's just 30 and 31 is the important episodes. Otherwise, you can skip it because my opinion of Nadia had been a bit, like damaged by these filler episodes,
Yeah.
especially the African arc.
Yeah. I would say that if you're going to skip any episodes, you should just do like 32, 33, and 34. Just don't watch those.
Mhm.
You can watch the ones where they're on the moving island. I mean, those are kind of,
No, still bad though.
yeah, they're still bad, but at least a lot of the conflicts presented there like play directly into the themes of Nadia, like science versus technology, and
Mhm.
being like anti-war, anti-industrial, anti meat, I guess.
Yep.
Oh
And
man, there was
kids
that
growing
one.
up,
Yeah, yeah.
the kids stuff.
There's a little bit of relationship building between Nadia and John, although a lot of it is kind of like, oh, I ate a magic mushroom. I don't remember that she kissed me.
And
Yeah,
now
you
she's
can.
mad at me.
Yeah, you could probably skip those.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
can skip
What
the.
did what did you say about this anti-meat and stuff?
When I said that, I was thinking of one filler episode in particular where they like mercilessly beat home the argument between Jean and Nadia. Like she's a vegetarian, she won't eat meat.
Oh.
After
Yeah.
that point has already been raised multiple times by the show. There's one of the early filler episodes, like, I don't know,
Yeah.
25, 27, something like that. Uh,
Yeah.
that they argue about it for so long, and he just does not come to an understanding at any point in that episode about why she chooses to live that
Yeah.
way. So it's just a bunch of wasted time.
Oh, there's one point in the climax that I think that Nadia doesn't do much. It was like she was brainwashed by Gargoyles, and she didn't do much to help out with all these, like, like the big events. But then afterwards, she had to choose between she had to save John. She had to sacrifice her Blue Water's power in order to save him, and sacrifice her father in the process. So I think that worked out fine.
Yeah, and she also has to sacrifice like a part of herself, her chance at godhood, and at being able to use the
Oh
power of the blue water, like harness all the Atlantean souls.
yeah, well, she doesn't really like that role though. We
Right.
learned that before, so yeah. So that doesn't make any like impact that she had to sacrifice those.
I still think, I mean, it's not a difficult choice for her, but I still think it is significant that she's the sort of girl, that she's like the sort of character who, if someone is suffering in front of her, she will give up
Yep.
anything in order to alleviate that suffering. And that's
Yep.
actually a
But
significant moment in episode, I wrote it down, 36.
yep.
Nemo is the guy who is always thinking of the many before the one. He's willing to
Right.
give
Right.
up.
Right.
He's willing to give up the life of the crew member who's like suffering from the gas, just so they can stay
Yep.
underwater and hidden from Gargoyle. He's always
Yep. Yep.
thinking
Yep.
of like the broader picture, but in episode
Mhm.
36, he's actually convinced by John and by the crew members.
Electra. Yep.
Yeah, John stops Elektra
Yep.
from firing on Nadia because he's ready to blow up the ship that Gargoyle is on and blow up his own daughter in the
Mhm.
process. But he
Yep.
he stays his hand, and he changes
Yep.
his mind. So because Nemo is like the ultimate representation of you know kill one to save many,
Mhm. Mhm.
and that's finally like reversed, you know.
Yep. I
So
actually
that's
like that.
yeah. I think the show had to go there because
Mhm.
otherwise
Mhm.
Nemo, even when he gives up his own life to save his daughter, his character hasn't come like as far as it needs as far as it needs to come.
Mhm. Mhm. Yep.
I also want to note
Us.
really quick that the new Nautilus being underground,
Yeah.
kind of like covered over
Mhm.
with like dirt and stuff, that's a direct reference
Yeah.
to space battleship Yamato.
Oh. Oh.
That's like exactly how the Yamato first appears when they unearth it. It's
Or,
it's identical, honestly. It's like
alright.
covered over with earth and dirt, and then they fire up the engines and it like busts out. And
Mhm.
it's clear like
Alright. Good.
the fact that there's a bridge and that Nemo is the captain, blah blah blah. It's like this show is very influenced by Yamato, I think.
Mm. Good to know about that. Alright.
Everybody
So
everybody watch Space Battleship Yamato. If you don't like old stuff, watch the new one, 21.99. It's really good.
I gonna get to that at some point.
Plug.
I have a lot of things I want to watch.
Yeah, same here, man. I'm watching a lot of it right now.
All right. So to wrap it up, how would you rate Nadia the Secret of Blue Water?
Pretty good out of 10. But like you said,
How
it's definitely marred by
how?
the filler episodes that like takes it down a couple notches.
All right. So how much is pretty good out of 10?
All right out of 10. I don't know. I don't care. I don't care about number or scores. What
Alright,
would you rate
I
it?
get. All right, I get it. I would rate it 90 out of 100, so 9 out of 10.
My God. Okay, definitely lower for me.
Yeah. All right. But
But
I would rate this one above Rose of Versailles.
oh my, okay, I definitely disagree with that. Definitely.
Really?
Yes.
Definitely. All right.
Yeah.
Huh.
I thought Rose of Versailles got to be like, but its second half was, it just blew away what came before. Whereas Nadia, I don't think that, I don't
It's the
feel as strong.
opposite.
Yeah, kind of, because up until the last like 4 episodes, it's dragging its feet and doing a whole bunch of pointless shit that nobody cares about. Um, but I, I I like it. You know, there's tons of
All
stuff
right.
to like about it. I would recommend it to anyone who is interested in Gainax, interested in Hideaki Anno, interested in adventure stories, interested
Mm-hmm.
in 90s anime, any of that stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Female protagonists, anything.
All right. Because I would say that because I always enjoy watching Nadia Secret of Blue Water, except for those 3 4 characters of the African arc. I always like actively looking forward to these characters, to these episodes.
Right.
So in terms of enjoyment, I actually I pretty much prefer it more than Rose of Versailles.
How about Ergo Proxy?
Even oh my god, even Cropsy, I would rate that like 7 out of 10, or even worse. And a
Even
7
worse
out of
than a
10
seven.
from
Even worse than a 7 out of 10. That's not possible.
well, for me 7 out of 10 is actually not pretty good score. But
Yeah.
well,
Even though it's 70 out of 100 is like, is pretty good.
yeah,
That's a
well.
lot.
So yeah, next week we're gonna start with land
Hell yeah.
serials experiments land. That's At if you don't know this before, this is like one of my favorite anime TV series ever. But watch it twice. I watched it like at the beginning of my like really into anime. So I think that was probably one of the reason why I held it in very high regard. But now we have Whooper who will come and see how the shows like influence how the show um like how the show for itself.
Yeah. We'll see. I'm
So
looking forward to it.
I'm really looking forward to see it again. Really, really. But can I ask you a question first?
Sure.
How do you like the psychological thriller genre?
Um, I don't know. I think it's fine. I'm honestly, I don't really discriminate when it comes to genre. Like the only type of anime that I do
Alright.
not want to watch is any, like isekai series, like Sword Art Online or anything like that.
Mm.
I have absolutely no patience for that, and I've never seen one. I'm actually watching Visions of
Alright.
Escaflowne right now, so that may get me to change my mind.
Yep.
But
Alright. Mm-hmm.
apart from that, I'm okay with any genre. So I'm not particularly fond of psychological thrillers. I'm not particularly averse to them.
Yep. Alright, because I think I'm alright with isekai, but I don't think I have like patience for shonen, like traditional shonen genre. It's just too long. It
I
just
mean,
doesn't have very good characters writing.
yeah, I mean most of them don't, but most anime don't have very good character writing. I mean, I
Right,
think there are
I
some
agree.
shonen that are okay. Like Hunter x Hunter, I think is pretty darn good.
Yep. But um, I think psychological thriller or psychological drama is like one of my like favorite genre.
Okay.
It just like it's always grab me in the way that it's always held my attentions.
All
So
right.
yeah.
Well, then it makes sense
All
why Lane is
right.
one of your favorites, and
That
maybe
would
it'll
make
be one of
sense.
mine too. Who knows?
Who knows?
We'll find
All
out next
right.
week. We're gonna do the first 2 episodes.
Right. Oh, for 2 episodes. So it's like 2 episodes of Lens instead
Yeah.
of 5.
Yeah. Oh
All
yeah,
right.
definitely. I don't want to watch 5 episodes of Lane and try to analyze them all at once. That sounds like a recipe for a headache.
Agree. All right. Thank you for listening this week, guys. I see you next week with Lens, Ash, Bananas,
Right.
Yuri, and a bunch of high school girls.
Sounds like a recipe
Thank
for a
you.
good time.
All right. See you next week, guys.
Bye bye.
Bye.